Literally covering this with the fingertips. No piper's grip, just the fingertips, and you're playing a Lodi whistle. That's incredible. Hello beautiful people, Stephanie here, and today we're taking a look at something brand new and pretty special from Howard Whistles, their close hole Lodi. It's a whistle designed like every other Lodi whistle, but the finger holes are much closer together. So rather than needing to learn the piper's grip and reposition your entire hands to play a low whistle and cover the holes, you just need to reach with the tips or pads of your fingers, and you can play this Lodi whistle. This makes this whistle ideal for smaller hands, those with limited flexibility, or anybody who's always wanted to play low whistle and just wants an easier gateway to access these incredible sounds. Now, Howard Whistles have a removable mouthpiece. It's one molded piece, and on the back it says balanced. And that's because Howard offer a range of different mouthpieces. Reed heads, which have a more reed-like sound. But they also offer things like soft acoustic resin, which changes the voice and tone and feel of the whistle. So do check out their website to see. You might be able to choose the mouthpiece that you can have on your whistle. This is the Balanced Classic M3. You'll notice as we come further down, because these whistles are tunable, they have a graded tuning system here, and every line is actually 5 cents in tuning. So if you lengthen the whistle and you start at the longest, the middle line, lengthening will flatten the sound, and tightening will sharpen the sound, so you can fine-tune these whistles really well. We have the Howard logo on the front here, and this is a nice gold painted on. And this whistle is actually the black silk, so we have these gorgeous golden edges on the finger holes here. And you'll notice on the third hole down, it looks a little different, where inside the whistle, these holes are actually being extended so that they can be closer together and change the pitch and tuning of the whistle. If we shine a torch inside this whistle as well, you can also see we have the angled holes here, which really make a difference to the positioning. And this is what is allowing you to have that closer finger spacing. If we take a look on the back of the whistle, you'll see we have made in Sheffield and the key of the whistle here as well. And inside, we have the beautiful brass colouring. Now, I have actually just had a little play of this whistle to warm it up slightly. And one thing I'll say about Howard whistles is that the more confidence you play with, the better they sound. They're a whistle that needs to be played with volume and confidence in your volume to hit those high notes cleanly and clearly and to really get the richness of sound. They feel like a lower back pressure whistle, and you need a lot more breath but less push. I'm used to using less breath and more push on higher back pressure whistles, which tend to be a little bit quieter. So going into this for me is usually quite a challenge. And you'll notice I don't play Howard whistles as often as some of my other low whistles, and that is because they do pack this punch on volume. But that makes them incredible whistles for playing with other musicians and for playing in different settings. So let's firstly take a look and see where we are on tuning and volume, and then I'll give this a play so you can hear how it sounds. So tuning, as you can see, is pretty good. On the middle line there, the lower octave, everything was perfectly in tune. We got up to about halfway through the second octave where you need that extra push for those higher notes and things started drifting a little sharp. But again, you have the option to fine tune here, so you can just adjust and make allowances for some of those notes. Also, the more you get used to this whistle, the more you play it in and the more you get used to the breath control, you'll be able to fine tune some of those things yourself as well. As for volume, it's actually a lot more balanced than I was expecting. We have roughly 70 to 80 in the first octave if you push those notes, and then 80 to late 80s in the second octave, which is expected, but that's pretty balanced as far as whistles go. Overall though, it is a loud whistle, perfect for sessions and perfect for playing with other musicians. So let's see how it handles a tune. So one thing I love about Howard whistles is their rich and resonant sound. You can hear it echoing in this room, and I've added no reverb, no effects. It's just the raw sound of this whistle. And there's something about these, I think it's the width of the bore, the thickness of the material, the beautiful shaped mouthpiece. It all combines together to give you a really rich, resonating sound that I think is quite unique to Howard whistles in particular. Now, one thing I did want to show you about this whistle is actually the hole spacing in comparison to other Howard whistles and other different keys of whistles. So let's take a look. On the top, we have the new Howard close hole low D whistle. And on the bottom, we have the regular Howard low D whistle. And you can see that although the top or first and second fingers are roughly the same distance apart, the second and third on the new whistle are considerably closer. You'll notice the hole sizes do differ slightly as well, but if we move down the whistle, look at that enormous gap on the regular low D, and look at this tiny gap on the new low D whistle. That is absolutely incredible engineering, and I am very impressed. We can also take a look at the Howard whistle next to a Lear B flat whistle, and you'll notice that actually the second and third holes are closer on the Howard low D than they are on the Lear B flat whistle. And actually the difference between the first and second holes isn't huge. If we move down to the bottom and we slide this down to the right position, you'll notice, okay, there's a bigger gap between the first and second on the Howard, but there's a much smaller gap between the second and third on the Howard low D than there is on a Lear B flat whistle. And in actual fact, the fourth and sixth holes are in the same place. So what you're getting with this new close hole low D whistle is finger spacing that's comparable, if not closer, than a B flat whistle. Now Howard are also offering these whistles in two different finishes. The black silk at the bottom has the golden rings around the finger holes, and it's a slightly shinier, deeper black. Or we have the standard black at the top, which doesn't have the golden finger holes, but is slightly more matte, maybe a little bit of a different color, still has a gorgeous sheen. But they're both absolutely beautiful low whistles. And just to show you the consistency between these, I'm going to play the standard black whistle and show you how it sounds. So let's take a quick look at some pros and cons. These whistles aren't particularly heavy as far as low whistles go, but obviously they're not quite as light as plastic. They look and sound absolutely gorgeous. They have this rich tone that I think is quite unique to these whistles. You have the option to change the different mouthpieces for different sounds, which I think is really fun. And we have this fantastic graded system that allows you to visually see your fine tuning as well as hear it when you play. So I really like that. Having a few different finishes is always a nice touch because you get to choose and customize your whistle somewhat. And of course, all those different mouthpieces and all those different sounds, that's a really cool and fun option. If you're a session whistle player, these whistles have fantastic volume. I think they'll definitely be heard, and that smoothness to the sound means they're not going to cut through in the same way. They'll blend nicely with the music around it, which I think is quite a desirable thing for a low whistle in particular. I'd personally say they're a lower back pressure whistle, so you can play with more open breath, which allows for a lot of expression in your playing, and of course allows for that freedom to play in sessions. It gives you that confidence when you go to play loudly and proudly, and yeah, it adds to that breathy feel of the sound sometimes, which I really like. Personally, for me, I am used to playing higher back pressure whistles, so I do find these a little bit challenging in the second octave. But again, it's what you're used to and your environment a lot. I think if I was playing these outside or with other musicians, I wouldn't feel the same way, but playing in a small room at home, they feel really loud, and it feels like a lot of confidence that I don't really have. Even I don't want to disturb the neighbors too much, but they are loud. So bear that in mind if you're thinking of getting these for at home play. It's probably not the best choice, but yeah, if you're playing anywhere else, these are a fantastic choice. Price point wise, I think they're reasonable because the quality of the build and the quality of the sound is really incredible. So you're getting a whistle that's definitely going to last you a long time, that's fully suitable as your only low D whistle. The additional inner structures don't affect the cleaning of the whistle in any way, but there is a slight bit of texture to the sound because of these inner sections. It's very, very slight, but on certain notes I feel I can hear that texture a little bit. It doesn't bother me. I quite like texture on whistles, and a lot of low whistles have a lot of texture anyway. But the more you play and the more you get used to and become friends with the whistle and get to know these whistles, that's probably going to pass anyway. But as a first timer, when you first receive it, just be aware that you might struggle to hit every note perfectly cleanly, but you will in time. It's just getting used to it. So if you've been putting off getting a low whistle, this could be your sign. If you'd like to find out more information, please do check the link in the description below to the Howard website. And of course, I do have reviews on other Howard whistles. So I've reviewed all sorts of their whistles. Please do go check those out so you can compare. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this and I hope it was useful. Again, if you haven't, hit the like button, leave me a comment down below, let me know what you thought of these. And of course, please subscribe if you haven't. It makes the world of difference to my channel. Thanks for watching, happy whistling, and I'll see you guys again later in the week for another awesome tin whistle video. Bye. So this was actually the first time I've played low whistle in the last, oh my gosh, 2 months. I broke my thumb 5 weeks ago, and it's still getting back up to strength. I can't even straighten it. It's still kind of fat and it doesn't bend very far. So it's the first time I've actually been able to play a low whistle for a very long time, and I'm still not anywhere near getting my grip strength back. So the pinch between your thumb and your fingers on the whistle makes it really difficult. So definitely wasn't my best playing today, but hopefully it did the trick to give you an idea of how these whistles sound.